We're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon and welcome to the Statewide School Comprehensive School Safety Planning webinar. On behalf of State Superintendent Tony Thurman, State Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Thurman, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for coming to this webinar. My name is Steve Zimmer. I'm Deputy Superintendent for Public Instruction. I have the honor of leading the Student Support Services branch. Members of this branch will be leading today's webinar. I first also want to thank the entire Office of School Health and Safety, led by Tom Herman, and all of our CDE staff that worked so hard putting together this presentation. I also want to give a great thanks to our ASL interpreters, who will be ensuring that all of our participants have full access to the information shared in this webinar today. On behalf of Superintendent Thurman, I want to give you a slightly belated but nonetheless enthusiastic welcome to the 2022-23 school year. And on behalf of the superintendent, I want to thank you for all that you do, whether you are at a county office of education, whether you are at one of our school districts, whether you are at a charter school, whether you are at a school site today attending this webinar. As the great late Vince Scully would say, wherever you might be, thank you for coming today, and thank you for all that you do for our students, their families, and our communities. Always, but especially during these last more than 2 years of very difficult and almost unthinkable time for our schools, for our communities, for our students and their families. Today's webinar covers the very, very important issue of comprehensive school safety planning. For many of you, the information provided today will be a reminder and a refresher. For some, it will be new information. Our goal is to make sure that we are able to clarify, elevate accurate information that all LEAs, county offices, and school sites need to fully embrace a robust, comprehensive school safety planning process. If we could go to the next slide, I'm just going to introduce our team that's going to be presenting today. First, I'll go through the agenda. I'll give a brief welcome and introduction. We will go through comprehensive school safety plans, ideas for effective collaboration with law enforcement, emergency management, and then resources from CDE and other statewide organizations. Next slide, please. So to begin our background, I'm going to introduce to you Lisa Borrego. Lisa is our division director of the Whole Child Division in the Student Support Branch of California Department of Education. Here in the Whole Child Division, Lisa leads our efforts to ensure that the supports that our students need, the supports that our families need, and the supports that our schools need are provided through various program offices, grant programs, and other resources at the CDE. With that, again, with the great thanks of our superintendent and my thanks for everything that you do for our students and their families, I'll turn it over to Whole Child Division Director, Lisa Borrego. Lisa?
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Zimmer. It's a pleasure to be here. As Deputy Superintendent Zimmer mentioned, my name is Lisa Borrego, and I'm the Director of the Whole Child Division for the California Department of Education. Before we go further into the webinar, and actually if you can go back one slide, I want to make sure to introduce my co-presenters that you'll be hearing from today. And that would be Thomas Herman, our Educational Administrator for the School Health and Safety Office, Nancy Zarenda, Educational Program Consultant for the School Health and Safety Office, Jake Wolf, Emergency Management Specialist, and Eric Acta, Executive Director, California School Resource Officers Association Certified Protection Specialist. So we look forward to having you hear from them and receive their expertise and their information related to comprehensive school safety plans. Next slide, which is slide 3. So we'd like to begin with some background, and Article 1, Section 28, subsection C of the California Constitution guarantees California children the right to attend public schools that are safe, secure, and peaceful. Next slide. Comprehensive School Safety Plans, California Education Code 32280-32289.5. Education Code 32280 states it is the intent of the legislature that all California public schools, in cooperation with local law enforcement agencies, community leaders, parents, students, teachers, administrators, classified employees, and other interested in the prevention of campus crime and violence, develop a comprehensive school safety plan that addresses the safety concerns identified through a systematic planning process. Next slide. What is a comprehensive school safety plan? Education Code 32280. A safety plan means a plan to develop strategies aimed at the prevention of and education about potential incidents involving crime and violence on the school campuses. It also identifies appropriate strategies and programs that will provide or maintain a high level of school safety and addresses the school's procedures for complying with existing laws related to school safety through a systematic planning process. Next slide. So who is responsible? Every K-12 school must have a comprehensive school safety plan. Education Code 32281. Each school district and county office of education is responsible for the overall development of all CSSPs for its schools operating kindergarten through grade 12. These plans are to address campus risks, prepare for emergencies, and create a safe, secure learning environment for students and school personnel. Each must review and update its CSSP annually. I'd also like to note that in a school district with fewer than 2,501 units of average daily attendance, there may be one comprehensive school safety plan for all schools within the district. And with that, I'd like to turn over to my colleague, Nancy Zarenda, to present the next portion of the slide.
Thank you, and good afternoon, and thank you so much for your participation today. The next few slides will be presenting the comprehensive school safety planning process and required components. Education Code 32281, B, Bravo, number 2. The school site council must initially develop and annually thereafter review and update the CSSP or safety plan, or may delegate this responsibility to a safety committee made up of principal or their designee, a teacher, a parent of a child who attends the school, a classified employee, and others as appropriate. The CDE recommends that the committees also include students, mental health specialists, nurses, athletic coaches, multilingual community liaisons, food service and custodial staff, transportation specialists, local businesses and nonprofits, and or other interest holders. Next slide, please. What are the school's responsibilities? Every school year, the school must review and update its safety plan and include all related policies and procedures. The school must work with designated interest holders and annually engage in a systematic planning process to develop the strategies and policies to prevent and respond to potential incidents involving emergencies, natural and other disasters, hate crimes, violence, active assailants and active intruders, bullying and cyberbullying, discrimination and harassment, child abuse and neglect, discipline, suspension and expulsion, and other safety aspects. The school must hold a public meeting at the school site to allow for public opinions before adopting the school safety plan by March 1st or sooner, as many schools do. The school must then forward the adopted school safety plan to the school district, or if a county school, to the County Office of Education for approval. And we acknowledge and commend that many schools and districts complete their approval and adoption and approval processes prior to March 1st. Next slide. To ensure greater participation in the planning process, we encourage you to reach out to family and community partners, parent-teacher association leadership and members, teachers, classroom aides, and substitute teachers, your multilingual community liaisons, who are essential for our limited English proficient families, parent volunteers, local youth activities organizations, community business leaders, and of course, students. Next slide, please. The school must consult with law enforcement, fire department, and first responders. The school site council or safety planning committee must consult with a law enforcement agency, a fire department, and other first responders each year when updating the safety plan. And the school must notify each entity of any updates that occur during the year. These entities do not need to attend the meetings, but they must be consulted in the process and throughout the year with any changes. Next slide, please. These next two slides will list the required components of comprehensive school safety plans as listed in Education Code 32282. An assessment of the status of school crime, child abuse reporting procedures, disaster procedures with adaptations for students and staff with disabilities, earthquake emergency procedures, including building disaster plans, a procedure to allow a public agency, including the American Red Cross, to use school buildings, grounds, and equipment for mass care, suspension and expulsion policies and procedures, and a discrimination and harassment policy. Next slide, please. A continuation of the required components of the safety plan, a school discipline policy, bullying and cyberbullying prevention policies and procedures, procedures for notifying teachers of dangerous pupils, procedures for safe ingress and egress of all persons, pupils, parents, and employees, procedures for conducting tactical responses to criminal incidents, including incidents on campus that include guns, and procedures to prepare for active shooter, active assailant based on local needs and contacts. And these last two bullets will be addressed later in this presentation. Next slide, please. Fire drills are part of the California Code of Regulations, Section 550. A fire drill shall be conducted in each elementary and intermediate school at least once each month, and in secondary schools, not less than twice every year. The fire drill can be conducted in one of two ways. The governing board may arrange for a fire department to conduct fire drills for the school, or the principal may conduct the fire drills, in which case all pupils, teachers, and other employees will be required to leave the building. The CDE recommends that the fire drill procedures also be included in the school safety plan, along with earthquake and other emergency response drills. Our next presenter on recommended components of the Comprehensive School Safety Plan and much more, we have our next slide, is Dr. Tom Herman, Administrator of the School Health and Safety Office.
Thank you, Nancy. The following components are recommended to be part of the Comprehensive School Safety Plan. They're encouraged by the legislature and recommended strongly by the CDE. In Education Code 32282.1, Sub A, guidelines for roles and responsibilities of mental health and community intervention professionals and school resource police officers should be included. Next slide, please. Continuing with the Comprehensive School Safety Plan recommended components in Education Code 32281.1, Sub B, Paragraph 1 and 2, primary strategies to create and maintain a positive school climate, promote school safety, and increase pupil achievement, and prioritize mental health and intervention services, restorative and transformative justice programs, and positive behavior interventions and support. These strategies are known to be preventive for violent acts, substance use, chronic absenteeism, and other risk behaviors. The plan should also include protocols to address mental health care of pupils who have witnessed a violent act of any kind at any time. Next slide, please. The public meeting held at the school site in Education Code 32288, Sub B, Paragraph 1. Before adopting its Comprehensive School Safety Plan, the school site council or School Safety Planning Committee shall hold a public hearing at the school site that may occur as part of a regular parent meeting. The following need to be notified of this meeting: the local mayor, representative of a local school employee organization, representative of each parent organization, representative of each teacher organization, representative of student body government, and all persons who have indicated that they want to be notified. Next slide, please. The approved Comprehensive School Safety Plans need to be made available for public inspection. Education Code 32282, JD. An updated file of all safety-related plans and materials shall be readily available for inspection by the public. Ensure that sensitive tactical response information is redacted. Post on school or district website. Maintain a binder with a copy of the plan for inspection at the school site administrative office. Develop an internal process for public inspection of the safety plan and identify appropriate school staff to assist with this role. Next slide, please. The District and County Office of Education Responsibilities, Education Code 32281, provide training and support to schools, develop a district-wide safety committee and meet regularly, provide a school safety liaison and oversight for all schools, gather relevant data, maintain policies and procedures. The districts track and certify that all schools in the district are in compliance with requirements. County offices of education require districts to certify all schools in their jurisdiction are compliant. And collaborate and coordinate with first responder and community agencies. Next slide, please. The following are important due dates. Education Code 32286, Sub A, the Comprehensive School Safety Plans, CSSP, must be updated and adopted by March 1st of each year by the school site council or safety planning committee. Education Code 32288A1, the CSSP must also be approved by school district or county office of education. The Education Code does not specify a date by which the safety plan must be approved by the district. However, the school district or county office of education must annually notify the California Department of Education by October 15 of any schools that have not completed the requirements. And so again, in Education Code 32288, each school district or county office of education shall annually notify the California Department of Education by October 15 of any schools that have not complied. And as a note, please do not forward the comprehensive school safety plans to the California Department of Education. They are to be submitted to your district or county office of education. We are happy to discuss the plans with you, however, at any time you can reach us and you will have our contact information. Next slide, please. Effective school safety planning. Effective school safety planning must be a dynamic, ongoing process, with plans being reviewed and evaluated regularly and always after critical incidents. Education Code 32280, all staff must be trained on the comprehensive school safety plan. This means that updated school safety plans should be reviewed and practiced regularly by all certificated and classified staff and students as appropriate. Next slide, please. And now Eric Acta, the Executive Director of the California School Resource Officers Association, will share some information with you.
Thank you, Dr. Herman. Next slide, please. In regards to Education Code 32282, a school law enforcement partnership should be established. Regarding to law enforcement, they have a different vision or different lens on how the CSSPs can be implemented. Procedures for safe ingress and egress of pupils, parents, and employees. Procedures for conducting tactical responses to criminal incidents, including guns on campus incidents, and procedures to prepare for active shooter assailant based on local needs / context. Next slide, please. How do you work with law enforcement? Law enforcement professionals are very busy responding to calls for service within the community. If you're fortunate to have an SRO, this makes it a lot easier to work with your CSSPs and the SRO. If you don't have that resource, I would suggest initiating by reaching out and emailing your local law enforcement agencies. You have to continually email them or continually call them. Understand that they are very busy, especially when they are shorthanded within their communities. Always discuss in the interest of security and safety for our students with their law enforcement management. This will prioritize their ability to come out and respond to your local sites. Invite them to your campuses. This will introduce the staff and students with your local area law enforcement officer, and sometimes their management will also show up. This also familiarizes your local area law enforcement officer with the specific campus layouts. Next slide, please. Regarding the school law enforcement partnership, the principal is responsible for supervision, administration, and daily operation. The school resource officer is responsible for safety and security of everyone at the school site. They need to work together to provide a safe learning environment. Under Education Code 32281, The superintendent or designee shall share the comprehensive safe schools plans and any updates to the plans with local law enforcement, the local fire department, and other first responder entities. Next slide, please. The California School Resource Officers Association would like to show this triad approach. This has been a philosophy of CSROA for several decades now, and it encompasses the school administration and having campus security supervisors on one side of the triangle, your safe school coordinators, your directors on the other side of the triangle, and your school resource officers making up the third portion of the triangle. And this, all three sides support your school administration. Next slide, please. The school administrator, your safe schools coordinator, your campus security, and your school resource officer all comprise this triad in what we call the school law enforcement partnership. As a school officer, you should have an experienced, seasoned law enforcement officer. He wants to wear, or she wants to wear, that hat of protector rather than enforcer. The last thing we want to do is we want to criminalize our students. And then the warrior becoming the guardian. Next slide, please. Regarding your CSSPs under tactical response, we don't need to explain our tactics. This is in the interest of safety and security. Next slide, please. The superintendent or designee shall ensure that an updated file of all safety-related plans and materials is readily available for inspection by the public. As stated earlier, portions of the comprehensive safety plan that include tactical responses to criminal incidents shall not be publicly disclosed. Again, I want to reiterate that in the interest of the safety and security of our students, law enforcement, educators, and the CSSPs are not required to explain the tactics. Next slide, please. I believe we have Jake Wolf with Emergency Management Specialist. He will be continuing.
Thank you so much, Eric, and what a wonderful opportunity it was to have you on this webinar. And I want to thank my partners at the School Health and Safety Office for hosting this webinar full of such important information. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So one of the things that they wanted me to talk about here today was the continuity of operations procedures. You may have a continuity of operations plan. Not a lot of education agencies will have a continuity of operations plan. The definition of a continuity of operations plan is the internal effort of an organization to assure the capability exists to continue essential functions and services in response to a comprehensive array of potential emergencies or disasters. It determines the mission essential functions of and sort them greatest to least. The point is to develop in a predetermined process to get services continuing to your stakeholders, whether that's teachers, students, adults, children, the varying services that your organization provides. And also contains information regarding continuity of government and ensuring that those decision-making processes that are critical to your organization are continuing to be made, even in the event of a catastrophic disaster. And of course, devolution and alternate sites. Finding alternate sites to have class and other activities that support your education. is extremely important ahead of time, and determining what scale those sites are being taken advantage of in your operations. Next slide. The other thing that they wanted me to cover today was roles and responsibilities of emergency medical services. It's important to know locally what the landscape of your emergency medical services looks like. Is it an open or a closed EMS system? That is whether there is multiple providers responding to an emergency at your school, or whether it is one provider that is coming to your school. That's important to know ahead of time, because if you're coordinating, then you want to know who you need to coordinate with. Also, you could have fire-based emergency medical services, or emergency medical services that is private or strictly emergency medical services based, or hospital system based. Those different EMS providers can have different stakeholders that you need to work with prior to any medical emergency on your campus. In Education Code Article 1, General Powers of School Boards 49413 through 49414 encourages school districts and schools individually or jointly to develop a program whereby their staff and pupils understand the importance of this training, meaning CPR and first aid, and have an appropriate opportunity to develop these skills. They should be developed in partnership with local public health and safety in your jurisdiction, and CPR and first aid information should be distributed. CPR training should be equivalent to American Red Cross or American Heart Association. Epinephrine autoinjectors, cannabis, and naloxone are all different pieces of information located in that education code and have differing requirements by schools in order to provide those services on their campus. Please go to the next slide. And last year, we did a survey to local education agencies. It went out to local education agencies in California with questions regarding the Comprehensive School Safety Plan components and disaster preparedness. The results were out of 2,000 plus local education agencies, 611 responded. The findings were that K through 12 education as a whole is widely separated on their opinion of what it means to be prepared for a disaster. And of course, we also found that K-12 education is underprepared for disasters, especially small school districts, which leads me to my next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide? Thank you. The slide that should be there would say that rural and small school district challenges. Rural school districts and schools and districts face many competing challenges for resources, including but not limited to accessibility to funding. The schools serve students with higher poverty levels, teacher shortages or limited access to high quality teachers, a lack of professional development for teachers and administrators, and issues accessing technology due to limited broadband access, which may impact continuity of operations that ensure essential functions are accessible before, during, and after emergency situations. And there is a wonderful document on REM's TA website at rems.ed.gov called Rural Schools Emergency Management Planning for All Settings that does dive into emergency management for schools that are rural and small. And next slide. Oh, sorry. That's this slide, and I'll go ahead and pass it back. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake, so much for all of the information. So we are moving to the portion of the webinar to provide some resources related to materials and supports that can help in the development of the comprehensive school safety plans. First, we'd like to mention the 2021 Educator's Guide to Comprehensive School Safety Plans. The 2021 Educator's Guide to Comprehensive School Safety Plans was developed in collaboration with the Los Angeles County Office of Education, the California Department of Education, the California Department of Justice, California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, and state and federal agencies, along with local education agencies. The guide is the first updated version of the 2002 publication, Safe Schools, a planning guide for action. That, per Education Code 32282, subsection B, should be used in conjunction with other resources in developing school safety plans. For more information, please contact LACOE by email at chss@lacoe.edu or by phone at 562-922-6233. Next slide. Comprehensive School Safety Plan Compliance Checklist. The California Department of Education CSSP compliance checklist outlines required and recommended components for CSSPs. It is designed to assist schools in developing and updating comprehensive school safety plans. Use of this tool is optional. It is not a complete CSSP template. Each school, district, and county office of education is responsible for compliance and familiarity with all sections of Education Code sections 32280-32289.5. A link is provided to access the checklist, and it is mentioned below. Next slide, please. We have a few additional resources. The CDE website, Safe School Planning, is a resource that provides information in the development of the CSSP. SB 541, Report to Governor and Legislature, School Lockdown Drills and Multi-Option Drills. Comprehensive School Safety Plans Best Practices Considerations. Compliance Tool for Comprehensive School Safety Plans. And CDE Resources for Schools, May 2022. And these are all links that are available on the School Health and Safety Office website. In addition, Readiness and Emergency Management for Schools, REMS, Technical Assistance Center, TAC, is also available at https://rems.ed.gov/. Next slide. I know that we've been able to answer questions through the Q&A and appreciate all the questions that we've received via the Q&A, and thanks to staff who've been responding in relation to those requests. We want to provide you with a little bit additional information regarding contacts. But before I do that, on behalf of myself and the co-presenters, we would like to thank you for attending this webinar. We'd also like to thank our ASL interpreters for providing interpretation for this webinar and ensuring that we have access for all participants. We hope this information has been helpful. Our contact information is up on the screen. If at any time you would like to reach out for more information or have specific questions that might be local to your county, district, or school. Before I conclude the webinar, I want to check and see, Deputy Zimmer, are you still on the line? Is there any comments you would like to make in closing?
Yep. I am here, and I just want to give my great thanks to everybody for attending. My thanks to all the panelists for the excellent information. I want to encourage webinar participants to use the resources that have been presented, and please don't hesitate to contact the department with any questions. Thank you again for all you do to keep our students, our staff, our school communities safe and accelerate learning during this very important time in our state.
Thank you, Deputy Superintendent Zimmer. We acknowledge that you were trying
Thanks
to.
so much. Have a
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Zimmer. I appreciate that, and appreciate again all of the participants who attended this afternoon's webinar. Again, please, if you have any additional questions, we're here to serve you and your school districts, your students, your families and students. And again, on behalf of the California Department of Education, we'd like to thank you again and wish you a wonderful day. This concludes our webinar. Thank you.